I'm a 26-year-old graphic designer, and I've been going to this 24-hour gym for about 3 years now. It's one of those big corporate places, Planet Fitness type deal, with floor-to-ceiling glass windows all around. During the day, it's packed. At night, not so much. But that's exactly why I liked going at 2 a.m. No crowds, no wait for equipment, just me and my music. I should have known something was off that night. It was a Tuesday, or technically Wednesday morning. I'd been working late on a client project and figured I'd hit the gym to decompress before heading home. I swiped my key fob at 1:47 a.m. I remember because I checked my phone to start my workout playlist. The place was completely empty. Not unusual for that hour, but the night shift employee wasn't even at the front desk. There was a little handwritten sign that said, "Back in 15 min." Whatever. I headed to the treadmills in the back corner. The thing about this gym is that it sits in this strip mall parking lot, and at night, it basically becomes a fishbowl. All those glass walls mean anyone outside can see in perfectly, but when you're inside with all the fluorescent lights blazing, you can barely see out into the dark parking lot. I mean, I'd never really thought about it before that night. I was about 20 minutes into my run when I noticed him. Just standing there, outside, in the parking lot, maybe 30 feet from the windows. At first, I thought maybe it was someone getting out of their car, about to come in for a late workout. But he wasn't moving, just standing there, facing the gym, facing me. I tried to ignore it. Told myself he was probably on his phone or waiting for someone. I focused on my music, tried to get back into my zone. But every time I glanced up at the windows, he was still there. Same spot, same position. About 10 minutes passed. I slowed my treadmill to a walk, pulling out my earbuds. The gym was eerily quiet. Just the whir of the treadmill motor and the hum of the AC. I looked toward the front desk, still empty. When I looked back at the windows, the man had moved closer. Not by much, maybe 10 feet, but he was definitely closer than before, and he was still just staring. I could make out more details now. Tall, wearing a dark hoodie, hands in his pockets. I couldn't see his face clearly through the glass and the glare, but I could feel his eyes on me. My heart started pounding, and it wasn't from the cardio. I stopped the treadmill completely and grabbed my water bottle, trying to look casual. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe he was just some weirdo, but harmless. I decided to move to a different part of the gym, away from the windows, and see if he'd leave. I walked to the weights section in the middle of the building, picked up some dumbbells, tried to focus on my form. But I kept glancing at those windows. 3 minutes later, I saw movement outside. He'd walked around to the side of the building. Now he was standing at a different set of windows, closer to where I'd moved, still watching. Okay, that's not normal, I muttered to myself. I pulled out my phone to check the time, 2:23 a.m. I thought about calling someone, but who? The police? And say what? There's a guy standing in a public parking lot? I felt stupid even thinking about it, but something wasn't right. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to leave. I decided to pack up. I'd just go home. I grabbed my gym bag from the locker room and headed toward the exit, my phone clutched in my hand with 911 ready to dial. As I approached the front doors, I looked out into the parking lot. I didn't see him anymore. Relief washed over me. Maybe he'd finally left. But then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. My car wasn't alone in the parking lot anymore. There was a beat-up white van parked directly next to it. Driver's side door open. The interior light was on, but I couldn't see anyone inside. My car was one of maybe 3 vehicles in the entire lot, and this van had parked directly next to mine, in a completely empty parking lot. That's when I saw him again. He was standing behind a concrete pillar near the entrance, maybe 15 feet away, partially hidden in shadow, closer than he'd ever been. And now I could see his face. He was smiling. Not a friendly smile. It was too wide. His eyes were locked on mine, and he tilted his head slightly, like he was curious about what I'd do next. He took a step forward, into the light. I felt my stomach drop. I backed away from the doors, nearly tripping over my own feet. "Fuck this," I whispered. I ran back into the gym, my hands shaking as I pulled up my phone and called 911. The dispatcher answered, and I tried to keep my voice steady as I explained the situation, that I was alone at my gym, someone had been watching me, and now they were outside near my car. "Stay inside and away from the windows," she told me. "Officers are on their way. 3 minutes." Those 3 minutes felt like 30. I crouched behind the front desk, my heart hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. I kept watching the doors, terrified I'd see him trying to get in. Then I heard it. Footsteps outside the windows, walking slowly around the building. He was circling, testing. I held my breath. Finally, I saw red and blue lights flash across the parking lot. And I watched through the window as officers got out. I saw them approach the white van. One officer was talking into his radio. Then they searched the area. 10 minutes later, an officer came to the doors and I let him in. "Did you find him?" I asked immediately. The officer's expression was grim. The van was stolen, reported missing from 2 towns over. We found the owner's wallet inside, but no suspect. He must have run when he saw us coming. We've got units searching the area. They escorted me to my car and followed me home. They never caught him. I canceled my gym membership the next day, found a new place, smaller, no windows, better staffed. But to this day, I still can't work out at night. Every time I see someone standing too still, watching too long, my chest tightens and I'm back in that fishbowl gym at 2 a.m. Looking back, I think about what would have happened if I'd walked out to my car without noticing him behind that pillar. If I hadn't seen that van. I'll never forget that smile.